y'all. I'm Gretchen,
I'm Corey.
and we are Two Girls in Jesus. We are so excited to be back with y'all.
I know it's we needed a little bit of a reset. We did some things different over the summer, but we were not consistent. So now we can be consistent.
Yeah.
Do our
And
best.
guess what we're doing today? New beginnings. I
This is
was
a
so excited because this had so much meaning for me.
Yeah, I mean, for you, every August is a new beginning for a new school year, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of go through this every year. Do
Yep.
you kind of do that as a reset, or does it just happen sometimes?
Um, usually I'm really busy in the summers. Um, I all of my trips I usually plan in the summer. But this and so typically I've not had a lot of downtime. And so I'm usually biting at the bit to get back to school. This year, however, I didn't plan any trips. The only trip I took was to your house in July. And I was not ready to go back this year. Like I had a true summer, like rest, relaxation. I did several projects around the house that I wanted to do. And it was legit like pulling teeth getting me to go back to work July 27th. I
Well,
was,
now you're in it. So how's it feeling? Are you settled?
yep. Yeah. The first 2 weeks are really a lot, because I'm a special ed teacher, so I have a lot of paperwork to do. More than, just a general ed teacher. So, the first couple of weeks are really busy, but it's starting to even out now. But my students this year, I have no words. I have no words.
Well, now you have to recondition them to be in school because they've had this whole summer of probably not having a lot of structure. I mean, I know when I was in school, summer was not about structure until I got a job. And then outside of my job time, there was no structure. It was just go do whatever you want. So I'm sure that, for those kids who whether they were working or not, that might have been their only structure.
Yeah, I don't know that they have structure in the school year. Um, they are a wild bunch. I will just say that. I am already exhausted. Like, I'm too old for this. I'm just getting too old for it. I just am. I mean, these kids are 90 to nothing all day long. And I've got to reevaluate and do something different because what we're doing right now is not working.
Yeah.
So,
Well, then that means I'm going to add that to my prayer list that I told you about that I go, I have it written down that you will find some peace, some structure, and some comfort in going to school every day instead of this.
yeah, and I mean, Corey, you know me, I don't ever complain about school. I mean, I've had some tough kids before, but I don't complain. So, yes, I will greatly appreciate that prayer. So, speaking of that, just I've got to do something different. Um, I don't like change. I don't like change at all, especially if I've got to change a process. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you get so used to doing something one way. It's like muscle memory. You don't even have to think about it. You just go through the motions and you get from point A from start to finish, and you don't have to think about each step in between. You just do it. So, I don't like change on the regular, but when I have to start changing a process, I really buck against the system there. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I've got to change is the processes that we're doing in the classroom because they're just reacting to them different than any of my other kids ever have. So that is going to be really hard for
So
me.
you really are having a new beginning because now you have to come up with something completely different than
Yeah.
what's worked in the past.
Right. Yeah.
You
And
know,
go ahead.
when you're a parent and you're having a struggle with something and somebody's like, well, just do this because it worked for them. Or, you know, and you hear it from 10 different people how to handle the same problem. You get 10 different answers. And that's how it is with your kids in the classroom this year, I guess, you know. It's just what you've known and what you've done. Just got to do something new now.
Yeah, right at first, like you said, beginning, coming out of summer, they usually, it takes a little bit for them to acclimate, but they do. So, yeah, doing different things at school. And that got me to thinking, because I knew that we were doing the new beginnings, and that got me thinking that when something new is about to start, we have a new beginning, that usually means that something else has to end.
Yeah.
And those endings are usually, not all the time, but usually they're sad, you know? And so I hunted for a verse, dug around for a verse, for some comfort in those times when your ending is sad. And I landed on Jeremiah 29:11. The NLT says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not disaster, to give you a future and a hope." So I was like, wow, I just kind of answered my own question there. I know I got to do something different. I will absolutely pray about it, seek the Lord in those things. And He knows those kids better than I do. He will lead me, He will direct me, and He's not going to set me up for failure, you know?
I also like how that one ends, talking about give you a future and hope.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to give those kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have reached many of your students over the years. And I feel strongly that you will reach some, if not all of these kids as well. At least give them an introduction into hope.
Yeah. I'm going to do my best. I mean, I won't give up. I mean, those words are not in my vocabulary. I won't give up. And I will absolutely do whatever is best for them. But it's not going to be easy on me. So, um, with that being said, this new beginning is very scary
The best things
because
are.
it's not tried and true. You know, usually when I'm introducing something new, I introduce it very slowly throughout a school year. And then I see what works and doesn't work, and I can tweak and change and modify and do what I need to do so that it suits the students in my room. And then by the following year, I mean, we've got it down pat, you know. I can do it with my eyes closed. But this year, the things I had designed, with these kids in mind, is not working. And so, actively in the school year, I've got to change it up and do something different. And that is really scary. But the Isaiah 43:18, and this was actually in the NIV. It resonated with me more in the NIV. It says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past." I can't worry about what did work. I can't, it's okay to keep it in the file cabinet, what did work in the past, but I can't dwell on what worked and miss it and kind of idolize that because it worked so well in the past. I have to put it in the file cabinet, focus on what we're doing now, and put all of my energy there. Dwell on what's right in front of me. So it's okay to miss it. It's okay to miss it, but you just don't go back there. You don't pull it out unless you can use it.
So my new beginnings no longer include new school years, except for getting to see all my friends putting up their pictures of their kids, or some of them have grandkids on their first day of school. Some miss it and put first end of the day or the first ending of the first day of school. I did not always get those pictures. It just wasn't a huge thing. I never had the little board, but everybody has their thing. I think they're really cute. And I think that it would be fun to look from year to year. What did they want to be? That kind of thing. So I think it's great. But with me not having a new school year to focus on, I looked up some just words that go along with new beginning. And clean slate was one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. A fresh start. Square one. I kind of like that, going back to square one.
Yeah.
A starting point. And then I just happened upon what does it mean to have a new beginning spiritually? And the words that went along with that were rebirth, transformation, a fresh start with renewed purpose.
Renewed. Yeah.
I really like that one because
Yeah.
you can keep having new beginnings over and over, but when it's going to be something that truly impacts you is when you have that purpose of why you're starting fresh, starting over. The other thing was spiritual awakening.
Ooh.
That said, to seek deeper meaning and connection with their spirituality. So I think I've been doing that for a while now. And some people might not call it a spiritual awakening, but building my relationship with God, it is awakening something in me. It is making me seek His word and, just Him overall, finding my own reasonings of what a passage might mean and being open to listen to somebody else instead of only taking in what I take. Um, and then I don't know what I was reading because I didn't write it down, but surely this didn't just come to my brain. Maybe it did. But I wrote down every end is a new beginning. Embrace the future. Also, inspires hope, optimism, and excitement for what's to come.
Yeah.
And I think anytime that we decide, okay, I'm starting over. I mean, a few years ago, I moved to Florida, to the beach, somewhere that we had vacationed for years and years and years. And we always said we were going to retire here. Well, we're not retirement age yet, but our kids were settled where they were going to be, and it was just time to have a new beginning for us. And what you said about scary, boy, is that scary, right? I mean, I knew this place, or so I thought. And then I found out all these other things about my vacation spot that changed it up quite a bit. I also found out that you can't just have a strawberry daiquiri every day because you're not on
Why not?
vacation. Because you're not on vacation. This is everyday life. Like you have to put the bottle down.
Right.
That bottle's not going to pay the bills. Um, so,
Fun
but just
trying though.
it took a while to get acclimated to this new space, right? To not just new people and new places, but a new pace of life. And I would say the first 6 months were the absolute hardest for me because the things that I would normally do, just going to the mall because I wanted to go to the mall. No real reason, just, go walk around, maybe find a new pair of shoes. That's not around the corner for me anymore. A simple trip to the grocery store changed. Had to learn the restaurants in town, what's good, what's bad. And like I said, getting used to that different pace of life. Like it's much slower in the Forgotten Coast of Florida versus Metro Atlanta.
Yeah.
So calming myself down, like you don't have to rush. Everybody's going at this pace. And there's something to be said about that, but it took me a while to get there. And even now, some things I want more instantaneous.
Mhm.
But I'm learning to live with that, and it's given me the space to actually build this relationship that I now have with God because I did finally slow down, get off the hamster wheel, so to speak. I hope that it doesn't take 6 months for you to get this classroom where it needs to be.
Oh no, it won't. I'd be a basket case in 6 months. I'll just tell you right now. Um, Yeah, no, we're starting Monday, a couple of different things. And so, and I'll see how it goes. But, like I said before, giving up is not an option. So,
No,
um, do you like change? Are you one of those weird people that like change?
no, I lived in the same state for over 40 years.
Yes.
It was three different counties.
Yeah. Well, see,
But no.
it depends on the kind of change it is. Like moving to me is nothing because I moved my entire life all over the country. That's nothing for me. Like I have lived in this house since, and I'm 52 years old. Okay. I have lived in this house since 2013. So how many years is that?
9.
25, 12. That's 12 years.
So yes, I was counting your age.
Okay, that this is the longest I have ever lived in the same place. 12 years. Out of 52, this is the longest I've ever lived in one place.
My first house, I lived in that long, and after that, I didn't live in anything for very long. I counted the houses one day, and I can't remember how many it was, but it was a lot. I mean, just in Monroe, Georgia, where we lived before we moved here, we had 3 houses there, one of which we built. So,
Yeah,
we liked that little town, I guess.
yeah.
That's where my mom
I
is.
like it. So, the changes, when I think about changing, one thing that I don't like changing is seasons because I like it hot. I like summertime. I don't like rain. I mean, it's not that I don't like rain and cooler days and nights. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I prefer summer. I'm such a summertime girl.
Yeah, me too.
When the seasons start changing and then goodness gracious, when we get in full blown wintertime, I am a hermit. It is too cold to go anywhere to do anything. It is too cold to get out from up under the blanket, you know? Um, But inevitably, whether I like it or not, the seasons still come, you know? And so even if you are someone who, like me, that, hates specific changes, like moving is not a change, that's not a big deal to me, but it might be a big deal to someone else. My main thing is changing processes. I hate that. Um, but the Bible says in Ecclesiastes, what was it, 3:1, for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. And
And
so,
you wonder what the word activity is pointing towards.
yeah, like to me, when I read that, it it was saying to me that change is inevitable. Is the seasons are going to come whether you like it or not. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to evolve. Things are not always going to be the same. And if they were always the same, how boring would that really be if nothing ever changed? And so then I kind of started thinking, well, maybe it's not necessarily change that I don't like. Maybe it's not the change that I don't like. Maybe it's the different part of myself that I have to put into that change. I might have to physically do something different, exert physical energy or mental energy, emotional energy, especially if it's like a new relationship. I really, when I got down to the core of it, I was just like, it's not change that I don't like. It's the different parts of me that I have to invest that I don't like, that feels scary, that feels abnormal, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because it's going to change. It's going to change whether you want it to, whether you like it. It's going to change.
And I mean, a lot of times these changes are needed, necessary.
Mhm.
You are going to have new tools because of the group of kids that you're working with this year. They're making you grow, and that's a good thing because eventually there's going to be somebody who needs everything that you've learned through all of your classrooms,
Yeah.
and you're going to be able to reach that person.
And, I love that you said that because it just triggered something in my brain is that in that, especially with special ed kids, okay, I might have to do something different every single day. I might have to make changes every hour until I get it figured out. You know, every morning you wake up is a chance for a new beginning. You know, every day, every morning, every hour is a chance to do something different if what you're doing was not working. You know, and so by the time I got done with this dig, I was kind of not hating on changes anymore. I was kind of not hating on new things starting, new beginnings, if you will. I started looking at it as every single morning. If we didn't like how yesterday went, it's a new beginning, you know? And that brought me to Lamentations 3:23. Great is his faithfulness, his mercies begin afresh every morning. And I was just like, God, thank you. Because now my whole outlook on this, the new that I have to do in my classroom is a not I have to, it's an I get to. We get to do something different, you know? And I was just so thankful that God just brought me all the way through this process because I was hating it to begin with. I ain't gonna lie, hating it. Didn't want no part of it. I was too old for this. And now I'm like, well, if not me, then who? So it's got to be me. And I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm going to learn in the process as well. So there you have that.
Well, the verse that resonated with me was 2 Corinthians 5:17. It says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. So whether it's a new year, a new school year, or a new you, God is here. He's waiting for us. Um, and and he's not holding on to anything. And when they go back to this handy dandy book that yes, I am still working on. I'm only that far into it.
Oh, you're way ahead of me now.
Oh,
School started and Corey,
well, we have
I'm
some
a
other
hot
books
mess.
too.
I am a hot
Well,
mess right now.
what I found in this one, and the title of this, it's part 4, it's called Grace, and the book is Mostly What God Does: Reflections on Seeking and Finding His Love Everywhere by Savannah Guthrie. The part where I put it together here is to remind everybody that it does not matter what you've done.
That's right.
God is still here. And so she gives this cute, not cute, I shouldn't say that. She gives a story about something that could have been tragic, but it did not end up being. And then she goes into how our Heavenly Father embraces us. When we come back broken and ashamed, God is waiting. It does not matter where we've been or what we've done. He does not scold or rebuke, demand an account, or exact retribution. He is just overjoyed we are home. Arms stretched wide, the posture of the cross. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, Jesus said in Matthew 9:13. He waits for us with love. And so I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that, like you said just a few minutes ago, every day is a new beginning. Every time that we step out of our bed, it's a new beginning. And God is waiting for us.
Yep.
He loves us. He loves us completely, and he does not judge us.
Absolutely. And he is always, because sometimes we just jack it all up. I mean, sometimes we just do. And, he's not waiting there to, I told you so. It's always loving. And I mean, yeah, there might be some consequences that we have to deal with from our actions or, whatever we jumped up, but he is always, always, always right there. And his love is unfailing and he is immovable. I mean, even if we're the ones pushing him away, he didn't go anywhere. And that is our God. And it's awesome.
What a great way to end our new beginning.
Yeah. Well, we hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope if you have new beginnings that you take some of these verses with you into those new beginnings. It's okay to be sad for the things that ended. Just don't stay there. And y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the stuff, ring the bell, squeeze the lemons, mash the hearts. What else do they do?
Just, I hope that if anything that we said during this reaches you, or you think that it might reach someone else who needs to hear it, share this with them. You don't have to, you don't have to put it all over everything if that's not your thing, but share it with somebody who needs it, because we know that we're here to reach the people who need to be reached. So, yeah.
And the cool thing about YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not sure about Spotify. Our producer might be able to help us with that. But if you're watching it on YouTube, you can timestamp. So you can send it to someone and say, hey, check this out. I think it might really resonate with you. You know, go to 13 minutes and 28 seconds. You know,
you can do that on
tell them.
Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, you can. Okay, you can tell them exactly where to go. You know, so they don't have to watch the whole thing. You know, I mean, it'd be great if they did, but you know, whatever.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks. Y'all have a good week.